Are you a doctor trying to elevate your practice and make your impact on the world long lasting? Ready to go from a hustler to a CEO? Man, you already know. Welcome to the Michael Buffington Show, the podcast that's transforming the lives of doctors. You ready? Let's go.
Hey, I'm Michael and welcome back to the show. Today I'm going to steal one of my mentor's lines, and today's topic is this. And here's the topic: how stacking wins really transforms you, your life, your practice, the business, and everything that goes along with it. And for those of you out there, doctors, don't confuse practice and business. They are the same thing, whether we like it or not. Many times we get caught up in this world that it's only a practice and we're there to serve. True. However, you do need to, and I'm going to dive into some of those things today, why you need some business principles to operate within to be successful. And because here's what I see in the profession, and really it goes well beyond the chiropractic profession. If you're listening and you're not one of my docs, not one of my chiros, or one of my male chiros and game changer, and that is that, this idea that I will do it tomorrow. Like, what does that mean? I'll do it tomorrow. Like, it's not something that I'm going to allow my teenagers to say very often and get away with it. So why should we do that? I'll save later. You hear people say this around money and retirement and really many times just to justify spending habits and that piece of life. I'm going to lose weight whenever New Year's happens, New Year's resolutions, all this stuff. And I understand with us and what we do at Cures Functional Health with DNA weight loss is that's a big season. It's on everybody's mind. Everybody has really gone through this binge, some of you, or maybe it's not my listeners here, but many from October and Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas and New Year's. And the next thing you know, you're like, uh-oh, I got to change something. So this goes on and on. I'm gonna see a counselor whenever my marriage is on the rocks. How about seeing a counselor before things are on the rocks in your relationships, whether it be a marriage or with a sibling or a host of other things, maybe even people that you work with? Because working on the business or waiting to work on the business when the numbers suck is not the time to do it. So, when you do that, it's not a process of stacking wins, as I want to talk about today. That's a process of being reactionary. And as doctors, we want to treat the cause, not the effect. Yet we live in often a society that's so consumed and really in this mindset, like, I'll just wait until that happens. Once it happens, then I'll change my behavior, then I'll change my patterns, then I'll change my processes, then I'll do the things necessary. That's not going to play out. And if you've been around very long, I think that you've seen this happen to a lot of folks. So you don't want to be that. And it reminds me, it's crazy, right? I think back to when I was first in practice. It was 1994. Yes, it's been a minute. And I had a doc then that it was it wasn't a doc. A doctor whose brother came to see me. Here I am. I'm a young kid. I'm in practice at 23 years old. Which is a challenge, running your business by yourself at 23. So I was learning from a school of hard knocks, doing my thing. And he came in, got evaluated, got treated, did all of it. And I gave him everything. Back then, Lord knows, I gave him everything I could, did everything I could for the man, and actually helped him. That being said, some of you know this story. An invoice goes out at the time for whatever reason we didn't collect. Maybe that was on me. Maybe that was on the one team member I had at the time. Didn't collect. The bill goes out. It comes back, and I kept it for years. I don't have any longer, but it said to me there, it said, hey, I wouldn't pay this to a chiropractor, let alone a brain surgeon. This is over, I think, $238. This included x-rays and a host of other things. And I kept it for a long time, really as a motivator for me to continue to work on the business. Yes, I'm there to serve patients. Yes, I'm there to get people results. Yes, I want them better. Because if you don't get them better, guess what? It doesn't matter what you do from a business tactics standpoint, you're not going to be seeing people. So I understand that point, and I know you do as well. But the reality is, where did they come from with that? I have no idea. But this is the consequence often from my viewpoint of when people wait to work on their business. They're going to wait for that to show up. They're going to wait for the patient to be unhappy. They're going to wait for a customer to be upset. They're going to wait for all these things. And because they're just treating what they can see. Classic version of working in the business, not on the business, which is challenging to do as a provider. That's why some of us aren't real good at it. And I'm going to take myself out of that equation. So wait until, we don't want patients to wait until the neurosurgeon has to be involved in their care. We want to see them early on. And that's what I'm imploring to you today. If you will stack up wins and you will do it consistently, and I'm going to talk about some simple strategies on how to do that. You do that week after week after week. It's addressing those causes. It's addressing the small subluxations in your spine, which in this case are actually in your business or in your life or both. As I said in a prior episode, you can't compartmentalize that. And we get it then before it's too late for us to have the meaningful impact on it that we want. Because if you don't, what happens? You lose time, you lose opportunity, you lose so many things. And I can tell you right now, it's challenging for me to keep my focus here because I can think of so many patients that I stood there, I looked at the x-rays, I looked at the films, I trusted what I knew and what I had been taught by great teachers, mentors, professionals along the way, DCs, MDs, DOs that trained me and all the chiros out there. And I would look and it's like, Sally, we need to take care of this. This is what it's going to take to get your nervous system function optimally. This is what it's going to take to keep your body functional. This is what it's going to take to help you do what you want to do, to take care of your grandbabies, to take care of your kids, to have a full life, to have a connected relationship with your husband. This is what we need to do. I don't have time for that. Or maybe I did a poor job communicating. Whatever the case ultimately is, that was the choice of the person. But they couldn't get it back. So then 10 years later, 15, 20 years later, and it's not really Sally, it's Suzanne is the one that comes to my mind. 4 surgeries later, all kinds of meds, all kinds of injections, everybody medically doing everything they can to keep this person going, who's actually younger than me, keeping them functional, keeping them as healthy as they could, but it was a losing battle. Why? Because you just simply waited. So don't wait on this. Here's what we do. Here's what we do in Game Changer. It's a very simple tactic. We've got fancy, stuff in our network with bots that drive, the questions that you answer and build this out and then send you a PDF and all these cool things. You don't even have to have that. So all you need to do is this. You can do it on your notes in your phone. You can do it on a notepad. You can do it in a journal. You can do it 100 different ways. You can do it on a whiteboard. But this is what it is. It's what is the one win that you're going to have for the week. Now, back up for a second. When I talk about this one win on a prior show, I talked about the weekly review and how we do the weekly review process. If you haven't, check that out. Make sure that you check out that episode first. It'll make some sense because for you to decide on what a win is, all these things kind of sync up. One of them is how do you assess your prior week? How do you assess yourself? How do you assess the business? What does that look like? And once you get through the working and not working of that, then you can build a good game plan moving forward for the next week with this one win. Now, what's this game plan, this one win supposed to move you toward? Well, it's going to move you toward a quarterly target. So you can start to get an idea of how I lay these things out from daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. And when you do this, you're just stacking wins. You're stacking a win, stacking a win, stacking a win. The next thing you know, maybe you're not perfect. Don't expect you are. I know I'm not. But instead of 52 wins, maybe you get 40. Maybe you get 30. Maybe you get 47. Whatever it is, it's a hell of a lot more wins than you would get if you just took a shot and threw some rice at the wall, as they say, and found out what stuck, what sticks for you. So with this one win, it's got to be focused. It's got to be one thing that actually has value and moves you toward that target. Hope you've set the target. I use the word target a lot more than I do goal. Goal, great, fine, okay with it. But, if you're not careful, it starts to migrate over here towards resolution, or it's something that you just kind of pulled the rabbit out of a hat. threw it up on a board and said, that's what I'm after. Like, it may not actually serve you, may not serve your patients, may not serve the practice, may not serve your family. So you need to check those things. But let's assume that you have a good target that you're going after for the quarter. Then you're assembling these weeks of wins. So what's the one win? What is it? It doesn't have to be massive. It could be relatively small, but it's not take care of patients. It's not run errands. It's not all the basic things of life that I sure hope you're going to do anyway, right? And you're going to do it to the best of your ability, and you're going to be as efficient as you can. That's a given, or should be a given for you. If not, we need to back up another step. But let's assume that that's a given. This one win moves you forward. So clear on that? I think I beat that up enough. That is what we want to go after. Now, once you've established that and checked it against the target, said, hey, this is legit, this is meaningful, why does this matter to me? And it passes all those tests, go back and go, all right, what's the action step that I need to do for that? What do I need to do? I'm going to take it outside of business for a second. And let's say it was something like weight loss. Well, maybe my first action step is I need to get a grocery list. Second, I need to, go to the store and acquire it all. Third, I need to meal prep. Fourth, pretty simple. Just need to actually eat the stuff that I said I was going to eat, or not eat the stuff I said I wasn't going to eat. That one's super simple. In business, it could be something around a marketing campaign. It could be something on your sales side, like how are you communicating? Could be something related to your internal systems and processes that you may have dialed in, but if you're not checking them, if you're not training on them, if you're not really assessing those periodically, you can get sloppy, or new team members can come on, stuff gets lost in translation. Trust me, I've been there. I'm like, how do we go from this workflow? How do we go from this SOP, standard operating procedure? How do we go from that that's written, documented, tested, proven, to somebody saying, yeah, this is how I learned it? Like, it happens. Even in the best of offices, it happens. So you got to stay on your training. Again, one example will kind of go on a tangent there to the side, but it occurs. That's why these one wins matter. It will keep you on point. You'll detail these strategic actions. I'd encourage you, get out of the gate on a Monday. Let's say that you set it up on a Monday through a end of the week, like a Friday even. You're on a 5-day week, let's say, that, and you're not even working a 7-day week in the sense. Some of you may be working 3 days a week like I did, some 4, some 4.5, some 5, whatever it is. Maybe you're 7-day, a week worker in your job, your career, your new business that you're formed. But bottom line, get out of the gate early, get some momentum, tackle that first thing. I love how Ed Milet, probably most people know who Ed Milet is, and I don't know if he's the one to give the credit to, but it is do the hard things first. This is literally, if you picked up my phone over here and you looked at it, every day I have a reminder in my calendar that says, do the hard things first. It's a way, once you get that over, it's all downhill from there. Like, you can tackle anything, you get a little momentum. So I encourage you, along with this one win, to do the hard things first. Establish the win, set out the strategic actions. If you consider that there's some challenge in some of those, talk about how you're going to get around it. What's the strike that you're going to make to get around the obstacle? Also ask yourself, is the obstacle real? Like, is there a real reason that I can't do this and take action on this? Or is it just here? Is it something in your mind, some story you've got, some experience that holds you back, some fear, uncertainty, doubt, that common FUD that enters our life that has been talked about a lot lately in some of our partners' meetings. So we want to eradicate that. Handle these things, because I can tell you, otherwise you will end up chasing rabbits through the course of a week. Stuff here, stuff there. Everybody needs something at home, in the office, in business. People are calling for your attention all the time. Your emails, your text, your phone, all the ways that we can be connected in this world can also pull you away. Set the one win and go after it. Now, once again, if you haven't reviewed yourself, it's a key component, because when you begin these kind of processes, as simple as they are, it's easy to get off track, and you'll even set one wins all over the place that won't line up. And we want to go, in a sequential order to knock down the target, to actually get through the wall and the resistance that sometimes is there when we try to grow. So ultimately, if you do these things, I guarantee you, here's my challenge to you. Find an area. Where in your life do you want to grow? And if you haven't established that, do that first. Just take this approach very simply for a few weeks of setting up a win that you're going to go after for the week. So you have a little celebration at the end of the week that you've done it. And you'll see what changes in you. You'll see the steps forward. You'll see how when you stack wins, you are going to get so much further along than you would otherwise. And always remember, my motto around here is learning daily, living fully, leading boldly, and never, ever forget that you are your legacy. See you next time. Share this up with somebody that needs this in their life. Thank you.